Election results are in. The president-elect has begun announcing his projected cabinet.
Also, check out the changes coming to your city with the propositions that passed.
Hello, welcome to Titan News. My name is Andrea Restrepo.
And I am Jocelyn Girarte.
In a recent speech, Trump was emphatic on changes that he wants to make on day one of his presidency. Those things include mass deportation of migrants, ending the war between Ukraine and Russia, and pardoning those who stormed the Capitol on January 6, 2021. He also started announcing the people he wants in his cabinet. So far, Trump has named Susie Wiles as his pick for chief on staff, which would make her the first woman to hold the position, as well as choosing Marco Rubio as his Secretary of State, which would make him the first Latino in the position. These picks are still pending.
Since election night, California residents voted on 10 propositions that can affect your community. After the 2024 election, residents have passed 3 propositions so far. The first prop that has been passed is Prop 3. This prop amends the state constitution and rebukes the stereotype that marriage is only between a man and a woman. The second prop passed is Prop 33. California residents rejected the idea of having counties and cities control your rent on any type of housing. The last prop that has been passed so far is Prop 36, which increases the sentences theft and drug possession. There are still 7 props that are being voted on and are still undetermined.
There has been a rise in housing costs in California. Reporter Guadalupe Caballero talks to some residents that have been affected by this issue.
Why are housing prices in California so high in 2024? It's the million-dollar question on everyone's mind. Living in California today is more expensive than anyone can imagine, and it's a concern for new buyers, longtime residents, and renters. High prices in renting, the cost of new buildings, and wages not being enough are the main reasons why it has become harder to live in Southern California. Century 21 all-star real estate agent Jose Lielva has been in the business for 20 years and gives his insight on the cost of building a new home.
Recession too. Well, they don't call it a recession, but it is a recession. Everything's higher. Wood, nails, screws, everything is much electrical material. Everything's higher, and so that's part of that. Yeah. So it's a supply and demand type of thing. Yeah.
Israel Rodriguez is a California resident who feels the cost of housing is rising higher each year for renting.
Here for about maybe like 15 years. So we've always been paying like $870, and that was for a 1-bedroom apartment. So I'm very fortunate to live with my parents, with my family. It's a family of 6. But it wasn't until actually this year they actually raised up the rent. The landlord came to us with a notice saying like, hey, we're going to raise up your rent. So now we pay $1,050. Yeah. It's still not that much, but still it's better than some 1-bedroom apartments.
With programs like Affordable Grant and Welcome Home Grant, someone can get up to a down payment of $45,000 closing costs for their first time as a home buyer here in California. This is Guadalupe Caballero reporting for CSUF News.
It's easy to remember who wins presidential elections, but what about all the candidates that lost? Our very own Janet Guerrica has the story.
In the city of Orange, a colorful front lawn stood out this election cycle. It is hard to miss the 59 signs that crowd the yard located on the corner of Fairhaven and South Oakwood. The signs have some names that are unfamiliar to voters because these are the presidential candidates who were not chosen.
There's some incredible names on here. So Thomas Jefferson, Aaron Burr, they're people part of political history and U.S. history. And they lost elections, and it's just part of the process. It's where we are, and it's what makes democracy great.
The art installation, titled Monument to the Unelected, captures the history and tradition of the election cycle. Nina Cachadorian's piece is installed by Cal State Fullerton's Grand Central Art Center in collaboration with Community Engagement. It provides a different perspective to the democratic process by creating election signs representing the losing presidential candidates dating all the way back to the country's founding. The names used are historically accurate, but the graphics and slogans were made from scratch by artist Nina Cachadorian and designer Evan Gaffney.
John Adams was not making plastic lawn signs that people put in their lawn. So it's a way of kind of pulling together a wide span of time also into something that is kind of brought into our contemporary moment.
With the 2024 election coming to an end, the 60th sign with the name of another unsuccessful presidential hopeful got placed into the lawn by a first-time voter.
Not necessarily the candidate that I would have wanted to place, but yeah, you have to respect the democratic process.
Also part of the democratic process is waiting another 4 years to see what names get written into history next. Reporting from Orange, Janet Oreca, Titan News.
Thank you, Janet. Coming up after the break, some weather updates.
And a new addition to Diocese of Orange campus. Stay with us.
You could be spreading the coronavirus without realizing you have it, so do your part and stay home. It's important to limit in-person interaction with anyone outside of your immediate household, but phone and video chat are safe ways to connect. It's also important to limit social gatherings. If you need essential items like food and medicine, try using a delivery service. If you must leave your house for essential items, or if you want to take a walk for exercise, make sure to wear a cloth face covering. Stay at least 6 feet away from other people. Try not to touch frequently touched surfaces like light signals, street signs, or benches. And wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds as often as possible. This advice applies to people of any age, including teens and younger adults. It takes all of us to slow the spread of the coronavirus, so stay home unless absolutely necessary. Visit coronavirus.gov for the latest information.
Welcome back to Titan News.
It seems that the weather in Orange County is finally starting to cool down. Here's Jonathan Zarate with some more updates.
Thanks, guys. Fullerton is starting to feel autumn chills as temperatures drop. Let's take a look at the weather. Today is a beautiful sunny day, currently at 67 degrees. And as we continue later into the day, the temperature will drop to 50 degrees. Humidity levels are 53% with only 1 mile per hour winds today. Today, early risers saw a sunrise at 6:21 a.m. and we can expect a sun to set at around 4:49 this evening. Looking ahead at the week, we are seeing a mix of mild and cooler temperatures. On Wednesday, we warm up and expect a high of 78 degrees with a low of 48 degrees. On Thursday, we see a slight drop with highs of 73 degrees and a low of 52 degrees. Once we reach Friday, we see a week low of just 64 degrees with a 25% chance of rain and a low of 43 degrees. On Saturday, there will be a high of 64 degrees, and Sunday the high will be 68 degrees, with both days having lows of 43 degrees. That'll be all for the weather report. Stay warm as we approach the cool autumn weather. Back to you guys in the studio.
The Diocese of Orange unveils a new chapel completing the Christ Cathedral campus transformation. From a Protestant church to a Catholic worship center, our reporter Violeta Sanchez has more on the story.
On October 14th, the Roman Catholic Diocese of Orange unveiled Christ Cathedral St. Callistus Chapel in Crypts. This milestone moment marks the completion of the Crystal Cathedral campus transformation from the Crystal Cathedral Protestant megachurch to a major Catholic worship center on the West Coast. Components include the Lady of Lavang Shrine and the Marian Gardens, which is right behind me. Church officials such as Father Bao says he hopes that for all those who come to pray in this chapel, they are reminded of their spiritual mission.
I hope everyone come to pray, believe in the presence of Jesus in the Eucharist in this chapel, and at the same time be grateful to all the blessing. And remember this image, they are saints, so we are called to be saints.
The chapel and crypts located under the cathedral will serve as a new worship place and final resting place for generations of Diocese of Orange bishops. The sanctuary was designed in a classic Romano Byzantine style, featuring custom-made mosaics, paintings, statues, and as well as a pipe organ. Members of Titan Catholic, the Catholic ministry at Cal State Fullerton, expressed excitement for the new place of worship in Orange County.
All of our faith-related activities are kind of just taking place in secular areas, just random lounges or conference rooms. And so the ability to have an actual chapel where we can go and meet, and it's like 15 minutes away from campus, it's such a blessing.
I think it's just going to bring so many more Catholics and just like, just people overall in general to have a space, to have a safe space where they can just spend more time with God and then just have and just feel like they truly belong here in the Diocese of Orange.
The chapel is open for masses and other gatherings. In Garden Grove, Violeta Sanchez, Titan News.
Coming up after the break, an NBA team is off to a historic start. Also in 2028, the Olympics will be hosted in a familiar place.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Welcome back to Titan News.
Jonathan Mansour has some updates on what's going on in the world of sport. Take it away, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jocelyn. We are 3 weeks into the NBA season and things are starting to shape out. One of the most surprising teams so far is the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavaliers under head coach Kenny Atkinson's first season are off to a 12-0 start. On Monday night, the Cavs defeated the Chicago Bulls, which helped the Cavs become the 8th team in NBA history to accomplish this type of start to a season. Donovan Mitchell scored 36 points in the win. So far this season, the Cavaliers are leading the league in points scored and field goal percentage. Focusing onto football in Los Angeles, the Rams fell to the Miami Dolphins on Monday night, 23-15. It was a game full of miscues for the Rams, who now fall to 4-5 on the year. The Rams went 0 for 3 in the red zone, which forced them to settle for 5 field goals and committed 6 penalties. The Dolphins scored touchdowns on their opening possessions in each half to improve to 3-6 and keep their playoff hopes alive. Now enough of the present. Let's travel back in time to when CSUF had their very own football team. Connor Rayleigh has more.
All across the country, college football is used as a way to bring fans together and allow schools to make money. Cal State Fullerton is the biggest Cal State school there is, but there seems to be something missing.
Behind me is Titan Stadium, which was originally built for Cal State Fullerton's football team. The only problem? There isn't a team.
In 1992, CSUF's football team was shut down due to financial concerns, but with the current landscape of NIL deals and huge conference contracts, Cal State Fullerton has the chance to boost school spirit while making some cash at the same time.
If we had a football team, I'd have to go to every game. Being able to tailgate with your friends would be a crazy experience.
It's no surprise that operating a football program isn't cheap, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. Big schools like Ohio State paid over $4 million to play schools like Akron, Western Michigan, and Marshall at their home stadium. While Ohio State easily defeated them, the smaller school benefited financially, helping to fund their program.
I don't even care if we get destroyed by big programs. Just being able to see Alabama and Fullerton share the field would make it all worth it.
As a school that struggles with school spirit and turnout at sporting events, revamping the football team could change all that. The ball's in your court, CSUF. What are you going to do? In Fullerton, Connor Raleigh, Titan News.
And to the future. Los Angeles is set to host its 3rd Summer Olympics in 2028. I spoke to students to see how their reactions to the new sport events that will be added and what their thoughts were on Paris 2024.
The 2024 Paris Games showcased the Olympic debuts of breaking and kayak cross. When the Games come to Los Angeles in 2028, multiple other sports will be added. Kayak cross was a major success in 2024 and will be carried over to 2028. Breaking, on the other hand, brought the wrong type of hype and will not be returning.
I didn't know breaking wasn't going to return, but I did watch a little bit of the kayaking. I didn't stay in tune with the standings really, but I did watch like just how, kayaking went, and it seemed like interesting. Not something for me maybe, but honestly, if breaking were to return, which is unfortunately not, I would probably tune into that.
The 2028 LA Olympics will feature the additions of flag football, squash, cricket, lacrosse, softball, and baseball.
So I'm really excited for baseball and flag football this year. I grew up watching baseball and playing it. Excited to see it come back to the Olympics this year, and hopefully USA wins that. And then also flag football is going to be interesting since it's a newer sport, like going professionally. Excited to see what team USA has and see if any of the actual NFL players play in the Olympics.
Lacrosse, that's another one. I played lacrosse in high school. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, I guess just the ones that I find myself playing are interesting to see that they're coming to the Olympics. Yeah. And it's cool that they're broadening their sports.
Baseball, softball, cricket, and lacrosse are returning sports to the games, according to an article by NPC Sports. Flag football and squash will be making their Olympic debuts.
That concludes your sport updates for now. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Jonathan. Coming up, an iconic Broadway musical hit the theaters.
Also, a look at a local event that celebrates Korean culture.
Things could be stranger, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes now. Could spend a lifetime trying to figure it out. I'm going through changes now that have just begun. Under a purple sun, there's many reasons we are what we've become. I'm going through changes now. Things could be different, but I don't know how. I'm going through changes, through all of the strangeness. I'm going through changes now.
Welcome back to Titan News. The entertainment industry has been busy lately.
Here is Hope Ferris with the latest.
Thank you. Here is your latest update in the world of entertainment. Wicked has finally made its way to the West Coast. The movie premiered this weekend, stars stunning in outfits that pay homage to the movie itself. Co-stars Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande continue in their green and pink outfits, along with the original co-stars Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth, showing their wavering support for the adaptation. Wicked hits theaters November 22nd, and you can get your tickets today. The time of year has come. Nominations for the upcoming award season has officially started. Grammy nominations dropped this weekend, with some surprising and not so surprising names making the list. For Record of the Year, Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar and 360 by Charlie XCX make the list, along with other artists like Beyonce, Sabrina Carpenter, and the Beatles. Album of the Year was dominated by female artists this nomination cycle, with The Tortured Poets Department by Taylor Swift and Hit Me Hard and Soft by Billie Eilish being some of the top contenders. The Grammys are scheduled for February 2nd of next year. The annual Roar Cultural Fest in Fullerton is one of the many cultural events that happen in Orange County throughout the year. Justin Rosette has the story.
Orange County is an area that is known for its diversity, featuring many ethnic events that take place throughout each year. To kick off each fall, OC residents come out to an event that highlights one group's culture in specific, the Korean culture.
I am in downtown Fullerton at the 11th annual Roar Cultural Festival, where the Korean culture is represented through dance performances, music, food, charities, and more.
The goal behind the event? To show off the diversity and talents of the local Korean community. Korean artist Marissa King, who is doing a live painting at the event, spoke about what it means to showcase her art at an event like this.
And I'm really proud to be Korean. I'm really excited that this event is happening. I think it's really important, and it's really beautiful to see our culture just be practiced and to come together and enjoy a weekend together.
Local Korean charities and schools were tabling at the event as well, informing visitors about their programs. Jefferson Elementary School Vice Principal Grace Choi talked about the Korean dual language program that her school uses.
So our students are bilingual, biliterate, and a big part of their learning is the cultural aspect. So being part of this multicultural community and to be able to experience Korean culture is a great asset.
The biggest attraction of the event, however, were the performances. Hopeful groups of different categories, ranging from percussion to dance, performed in front of judges. One performer, Taylor Han, who performed a Korean fan dance, commented on what it meant to represent his culture on such a stage.
I kind of feel proud whenever I've been in a big stage and like helping representing my culture and where I'm from.
Taylor, along with many others, both kids and adults, got to show off their moves to the crowds all weekend long. Because of its continued success with showcasing the Korean culture to people of all backgrounds, this event promises to continue lighting up Orange County for many years to come. Signing off from downtown Fullerton, I'm Justin Rosette, Tide News.
Dog adoptions events are an often occurrence. The story of a pug-specific adoption event is brought to us by our very own Brianna Delgadillo.
Calling all pug lovers. If you've been thinking about adopting a furry friend, here's your chance. Pug Nation Rescue of Los Angeles hosts monthly events, and it's all about giving lovable pugs a second chance at a happy home.
Pugs are a very unique breed, and they're just special. There's something about them. I can't tell you other than that. Once you have a pug, you continue to have a pug, and I've had them for 33 years.
The team at Pug Nation is dedicated to rescuing pugs who have been abandoned, neglected, or surrendered.
We're a shelter for the pugs, we're a rescue for the pugs, but we also are kind of a sanctuary in that if a pug takes 5 years to get adopted, they could live here. We have a 24-hour staff, so they're loved, they're fed, they're safe. So the only thing we euthanize for is if a pug's in pain and there's nothing we could do.
Adoption is important for helping animal shelters. With limited space and resources, these shelters often become overwhelmed.
Before the pandemic, we averaged about 25 to 30 pugs in-house ready to adopt, but now our numbers are staggering, like we're hovering around 60. Unfortunately, a lot of females come in and they're already pregnant. Sometimes it's just a surprise. So we also have litters of puppies.
Animal Care and Control reported between 2023 to 2024, about 10,000 dogs were euthanized in LA County alone. Many of these dogs are healthy and adoptable, but they are put down due to overcrowding and the lack of available homes.
It's so important to adopt because we don't want to go to breeders and let them know that they can make money off dogs. There's so many dogs out there.
Pug Nation relies heavily on the support of the community, not just for adoption, but also through donations and volunteers who help care for these animals.
In Carson, California, I'm Brianna Delgadillo reporting with Tide News, signing off.
That is this week's entertainment update. Back to you, Andrea and Jocelyn.
Thank you, Hope. That's all we have for you today on Titan News. I'm Jocelyn Quirarte.
And I am Andrea Restrepo. Until next time, stay classy, Fullerton.